And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Around the Bases with Bubba and Mo, episode 110. Got a lot to talk about here. We got a lot of fantasy baseball talk. We got some prospects called up, some interesting signings in Japan that slipped past me. Told Mo put it on the outline, and that really caught my attention now. And Ian Kinsler is a douche. But we'll break it all down. And my co-host, as always, you can find him on Twitter at Boston_Mo. Mo, how we doing, man?
I'm doing well, yeah. Ian Kinsler is a douche in more ways than one. And again, like you said, we'll go over that in a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm on Twitter at BDentric for those that care. And the podcast is at Around Bases Pod. If you give a rating and review on iTunes, we'd much appreciate it. But let's just kick it off, Mo. In the fantasy baseball world, in the Twitterverse, people called it FAAB. They had all kinds of names for it. All the prospects called up. There's probably 6 or 7 big-time prospects, 5 or 6 guys going for over $100 or over 10% of FAAB budgets, some going $300-$400, depending on the league you're in. Hey, Mo, how'd yours go?
Oh, it went great. I got all my bids in. I was all set. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get one of the top 3 in my opinion, which, you'll go over your strategy before, but basically the order that I had it in terms of the amount I wanted to bid and the player that I wanted was Austin Riley, Brendan Rodgers, Keston, Nicky Lopez, Corbin Martin, Mercado, and Sean Anderson was below the list, along with a couple other guys that I wanted to get for cheap and hope that it would come through with maybe some injuries or whatnot. And I had enough guys to get rid of to do that. But yeah, that old pesky old save button at the top right corner, Bubba, it's a green one. I didn't hit that. I was doing it over my phone, and I just didn't hit it. Everything was there. I was set, and I was like, all right, let's go look to see, if I won anything. Didn't win anything. I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Let me just get this up here real quick, Bubba. The FAAB results. Austin Riley went for 284. Wouldn't have got that. I had 225 on him. Rodgers at 211. I had 175 on him. Would have lost that. Keston Hiura went 125. I had 150 on him. Would have had him. Even though I think there's a possibility he did dong again today, I think there's a possibility he could go down with Travis Shaw, on a rehab assignment here. And I feel like they think that Travis Shaw is going to figure it out. So he might go back down, but I didn't want anything really to do with Mercado. He just kind of came out of nowhere. I know the steals are there. Nicky Lopez, I wouldn't have won. I had 60 on him. He went for 76 in my league. The one that really kills me in our league is Corbin Martin, who went for $6.
Oh, you're in PT's league?
Yep.
Oh, I talked about him on bench with Bubba this week. I said that guy, and I've talked to him many times, but I was like, he lucked out so much. Like, what the hell happened for $6 in that league? I'll go into mine in a minute, but Martin went for 175 in mine.
Yeah, so I think I only had 50 on him. So because I'm not sold on him staying in the rotation long term, and I didn't want to spend a huge amount of capital on him when I feel like right now the strength of my team is my pitching. With Price coming back, I picked up Max Fried a few weeks ago. I have Barrios. I have Trevor Williams was been good since he's on the DL and whatnot. I have a couple other guys. So I didn't really want to go hardcore on Martin. I wanted to spend it more on the hitters. So I would have won him. So he got really lucky there. And then I would have won Sean Anderson as well. He went for $11. I think I had 15 on him. Oh, yeah. So our league was a little crazy.
So a little low.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, and there's another guy that I would have won that will probably be up there in my opinion. And I would have won him for, I think, $5. I'm not going to name his name until when I lose him next week, probably, which will again piss me off, but it is what it is. So that was my strategy. And I think it would have worked. I would have been fine with it, right? Because I would have got 3-4 guys. Then I would have been like, okay, we're gonna start something here. I think I'm in 5th right now, in that league, and I think I'm maybe top 100 overall. But in league 11, it's been tough so far. But it's I think I'm holding firm right now. A couple guys been attendee slow. So that was my strategy. I'd love to hear yours. I'm sure it's close, but there's probably flip-flop on a couple guys.
Yeah, no, I'm always timid on these prospects. Like I want them, but I'm timid. Like when Nate Lowe came up, I went I think 2 something on him. I went higher than I did on anybody this week, and I got more timid this week because of what happened with Nate Lowe and company. But I went 2 something, didn't get him because Matt Thompson went like 540 on that one. But that was the thing that's gone all over Twitter because of that's his guy. No other good prospects coming
My
up.
guy too.
Oh boy. But yeah, so Austin Riley, I went 176. He went for 369. The runner-up bid was 266. So didn't get him. Willie Calhoun, I went 176. He went for 195. Runner-up bid was 176 was me. So I got the runner-up there. Willie Calhoun is now on the IL. I tried to get Malik Smith for 136. That didn't work. Malik Smith went for 175. Malik Smith got dropped the week previously for someone picking up J.P. Crawford. That one blew my mind. I wanted to add him immediately. That was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Keston Hiura. I put in for 126. I really like Keston Hiura. Not as much as the Fantasy Fix does because he got him for 211. Runner-up was 180. You keep going a little farther. Corbin Martin, I went 111 on him. Not even close. He went for, like I said, he went for 175. Runner-up was 169. So those were steep, way different than your league. It gets better. Brendan Rodgers. I went a whole whopping $89 because I don't trust the Rockies. I love Brendan Rodgers, but I do not trust the Rockies.
Oh, yeah, that's him, yeah.
He went for 175. 2 guys actually bid 175 on him. So they had to do the, good old Rochambeau for that one. Wasn't even close. Sean Anderson, I won, though. How much did you say he went for in your league?
$11.
I won him for $67. The runner-up bid was 47. So, the differences in these leagues are amazing to me. I think that's the main prospects. Like I got Charlie Tilson. No, Nicky Lopez. I put 41 in on Lopez. I like Lopez a lot. I like him more in OBP leagues than what this format is. I put in, like I said, 41. Nicky Lopez went for 171. So, yeah, it was pretty fierce in this league and a lot of kind of other small picks here and there. I ended up getting Sean Anderson, which I'd like a lot. I really do like it. Not even Homer is in there. I got Charlie Tilson. I like his power upside there for cheap. And Gio Urshela, why he's got an everyday role because they have no third baseman anymore. I'll roll the dice for now, and I got him for cheap. And then I picked up Eric Fetty because he's starting for the Nats now with Animal out. He had a 2 start this week. I got him for $7. I was kind of happy about that. But, yeah, it was ugly. But I'm in third place. I'm right behind Jeff Erickson in second. And then Kenneth Lee from Guru Elite is in first. He's smoking us. He's like way up there. But me and Jeff keep battling for second right now. It's interesting. My pitching's been lights out. My offense is starting to get there now, but it's not 100. Now that Matt Olson's back, that helps a lot.
Yeah, it definitely helps a lot. I was going to look up the TG FBI overview from Smata.
It's the best page out there. I love that.
It is, but for some reason I'm on last year, so I'm not sure.
I can if the link is drop it in the. Want me to drop it in the docs?
Yeah, you can drop it there, but I'm on the page, but it's showing last year because it's showing all the Juan Soto bids, which is like 756, 692, and then we'll see what that turned into.
Yeah,
so
I got the new one right here. I'll send it your way.
Yeah,
but
I know a couple of them went for like the 5s. From what I know, he posted it a few days back, but let's see here.
Yeah, Austin Riley had 2 bids over 500, 502 and 503. Those are some big ones there, but it's just fun seeing how different some are. Like Brendan Rodgers, 128 to 302. But yeah, I'll let you have some more fun with that. But yeah, $6 for Martin. Screw you, donkey teeth. Screw you. I said it on the podcast what I did the other day. That's ridiculous.
I wish I had told you that because it was literally I would have had him. It wouldn't have been a problem, and it just blows my mind that he's not on my team. But yeah, so yeah, like you said, and I used to do Tableau for work, so I'm kind of into this kind of thing. But yeah, it's Austin Riley obviously won. Someone the most. I mean, it's Nicky Lopez. I think 76 in my league again by Mike the Rotocop. That's the second least that he went for. He went for the most 325. Like you said, Brendan Rodgers 302. Willie Calhoun, who's now on the DL. I mean, whoever bid 348 for him is probably kicking himself right now. I'm surprised Mercado went for 156. I know that speed is there and whatnot, but he kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, the Cardinals gave him up for nothing. So it's kind of a month and a half. Can we trust that? I'm not sure. I wouldn't have went that far on him.
Well, what do we think about Mercado? The good thing is now, if you did get Mercado, is they just sent cargo packing, so it's Mercado's job every day, which it should have been a long time ago.
Yeah.
The thing with him is it's all about the speed. The rest of him is pretty not much there, and people want speed, so that's I think why they paid more. But you mentioned Willie Calhoun's already on the IL, which sucks because he was smoking. What about Brendan Rodgers? People went 128 to 302 overall, and he's already sat twice this week. He's playing tonight on Wednesday night, but he sat the first 2 nights against right-handed pitching. There's a righty on the mound tonight, and he's starting, but they're already doing the Rockies thing in platooning, and that's what I was really scared about.
Yeah, I think it's about the talent, and it's about the playing time that he could get and the people he's going up against compared to what Keston's going up against. I mean, I know Travis Shaw's been terrible, but him, Moustakas, and Aguiar have put up numbers before. And then you've got an older Daniel Murphy who's hurt. You've got McMahon. You've got Garrett Hampson, who's now sent down. You got Pat Vayaka. I'm not even going to say his name right because it doesn't deserve to be said right now in terms of the fantasy world. So the guys that he's going up against just aren't there. And then you can even say Ian Kennedy. I'm not saying they're going to put Brendan Rodgers to the outfield, but Ian Kennedy, not Ian Kennedy.
Daniel Murphy?
No. What's his name?
Ryan McMahon?
No. Center fielder. Why am I blanking on his name? Huh?
Blackman? Dahl?
No. You said everybody but him. Nope.
I'm running out of guys here.
I know. Let me go to roster resource. This is a great moment in podcast history right here that I'm just blanking on his name. Ian Desmond.
He's not worth mentioning either.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, they have him and they've paid him a lot of money, and they're actually playing him, 5 out of 7 days a week. So there's a lot of guys that he has to go up against compared to Keston, where you're going to play him more, and he has a chance to play there. I think the only issue, and he sort of fixed that this year, is the swinging miss profile for Brendan Rodgers. I think that's the only issue that they're worried about, but. That's why I had him rated over Keston, even though I think eventually Keston will be the better major leaguer than Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, I think if Keston hits, they're going to find a way to play him. They're going to keep him up. And so far he's hitting. I think they might, Aguilar, Thames, there's going to be some kind of platoon, like Shaw's going back to first or something. There's going to be something going on there.
Yeah.
I think here it plays somehow.
Do you think there is any possibility that they DFA Aguilar?
I think it's a possibility because, yes, as good as he was amazing, but he's only done it once. And that kind of concerns me a little bit. I can see them DFAing him or Thames.
Yeah, it's, in May, he's been better in terms of average and getting on base and whatnot, but I think he has 2 extra base hits in May, and that's it. And they're both doubles.
Yeah, and if he's strictly a platoon guy, what makes him any different than Mark Reynolds or something? Like
he's not great defensively.
No, you can find guys like that. If here is hitting the way he should be hitting, I think they're going to keep him up there because they need that kind of spark in that offense right now.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, obviously, there's probably not going to be another FAAB week like that unless,
Yordan Alvarez, come on down.
Yeah, Alvarez and Kyle Tucker.
Zach Gallen, pitcher.
Yep, Zach Gallen, maybe for the Marlins. I think it could be Michael Chavis, who was up early and who was barely a top 100 prospect and got suspended with PEDs. Could be the buy of the year, which nobody thought would happen. And he stayed there. I mean, he's going to come down to earth a little bit, I think, because the season does get long and whatnot, and people go into slumps at times. But I think it's crazy that he might be the buy of the year, even though Kyle Tucker and Alvarez are still there.
Yeah, so far he definitely is. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. But all right, enough of that because I get PTSD over that by not saving those things. So let's get to just a great guy in the baseball world. That's Ian Kinsler. The other day, he's obviously been struggling. I don't know why they signed him. I get the veteran presence. It's one thing if you gave him a 1-year deal, they gave him a couple. So AJ Preller, congrats on that one. But he hit a big home run the other day, and he bat flipped, and then he basically said F you to the fans. Who have been booing him, which rightfully so. What do you got on this guy?
He's just a world class piece of S, is what Ian Kinsler is. He's garbage. We talked about him 2 years ago at the World Baseball Classic. He was complaining about bat flips and people actually having fun, and now here he is. He bat flipped the hell out of that home run too. By the way, that was
Yes, he did.
interesting after hearing Mr. Kinsler.
Four flips.
Yeah, it was a big one, and it was like, act like you've been there before. The dude's hitting a $184. A bucket. You deserve to be booed. You have a minus 10.3 offensive WAR, a minus 0.7 overall WAR on Fangraphs. You deserve to be booed. You're horrible at baseball right now. You are not the guy that people thought you were. You're 36 years old. You're washed up. Enjoy your paycheck of $4 million a year and shut up. Like, you're literally there to help these young kids learn, and you aren't doing anything except cry like a little kid. So he's garbage. They should cancel Ian Kinsler. He's absolutely horrible. The good thing about the deal being so cheap, they can just cut him and not worry about it. So I'd be shocked if he's either going to get traded or he might not be with the team by the end of this year. He's so bad. Saying F you to the fans when this fan base is starting to grow and enjoy this young group is the worst thing you could have done. Like, he should have been fired right there, at least fined or made an example of somewhere.
Is it only for? I know. I mean, it's granted it's $6 million, so I'm not going to think, but I think it's like 2 years, 12, which is
Fangraphs has 2 years, 8. Maybe the 1 year option is another 4 or something.
Yeah, maybe the buyout or something like that. But yeah, the WBC thing is what I kind of brought up. I tweeted it the next day. Basically, I think we did talk about it when it did happen. Basically, he was not about the celebrating, the having fun, the bat flips, and it wasn't. I mean, I guess racist is the wrong term, but the way that it came out, it sounded like that. They can do what they want in their own country. We don't do that here, sort of thing. It's not the right thing to say. It never was the right thing to say. There's a lot of things that you could say 5 or 6 years ago that you can't say in 2019. You probably never could say that, right? Maybe people would blow that off and not really worry about a comment like that 5 or 6 years ago, but you still couldn't say it. You still were going to get some blowback a little bit compared to what you can get now and what he got 2 years ago, which is why he had to clarify it 2 days later. That guy's a douchebag. He really is. He's a world-class DB. He always has been. I think a lot of teammates maybe don't like him. I'm not sure about that, but from what I remember in Texas, when he was traded to Detroit, I thought there was a little fallback from a few of his old teammates. And then the biggest thing, well, not the biggest thing, I was going to make a joke about it, but I can't watch Ty Buttrey now because of Ian Kinsler. Okay. Ty Buttrey was traded straight up for the Angels for Ian Kinsler. And I can't watch Ty Buttrey in the right uniform.
I call BS to that. That's your boy.
Who's my boy?
Buttrey. That's who you want to close for. Yeah, that's your boy.
No, that's what I'm saying. I can't watch him because he was traded straight up for Ian Kinsler.
I'm saying you can't quit him. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not going to quit him. I'm saying that I'm
not going to watch him.
I want him to be my closer.
Okay,
and he can't be my closer. Okay, with a capital M. Because of Ian Kinsler. But at the end of the day, I think you're right. I think he's gone pretty soon. I think Luis Urias is killing them all right now. 350, 430, 439 OBP, about almost 11.5 walk percentage, 12 homers. What are we waiting for? You're winning now. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's garbage. I think what they're waiting for is getting, Tatis back, maybe making a little bit of a run. Right now they might not be ready to contend, so they're not trying to use the time yet on Urias. So I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm with you. It's pretty shitty stuff there.
Yep.
All right. A couple prospects got called up since we last talked. Austin Riley of the Braves, a guy that we thought should have been called up last year, didn't get the call. He was scorching hot in the minors, hitting .299 with 15 home runs, 39 ribeyes in 37 games. Gets the call, and he's picked up right where he left off, already hitting .385 with 3 homers, 6 RBIs. He hit one in AT&T Park, which is always a good sign of raw power, but he's been hitting lefties, hitting righties, doing it all. So there's a lot to like there with Austin Riley. And for now, he's got playing time, but once guys get healthy, it'll be different. But the latest report on Inciarte is he can't do anything because his back's still a mess. So as long as Inciarte's out, I think you got some hope. What do you got on Austin Riley?
They can't get rid of him, obviously, if he continues to hit. That's really not a hot take. They wanted him to improve his plate discipline. He struck out, last year in AAA almost 30% of the time, walked 8% of the time, but still had a good average there, about 280, and had a total last year of 18 bombs in about 100 games or so and 400 plus at bats. This year, like you said, 15 bombs. He got that walk rate up to 11%. He dropped his K percentage to 19%. So now they're saying to themselves, okay, we signed Donaldson to sort of bridge this and get him more at bats and more seasoning in AAA. And it's worked so far. Donaldson hasn't been his MVP self, which I don't think we all thought he was going to be, because he's getting older and he's had some injury issues over the past couple of years. I don't think, yes, he started off strong, right? And he's striking out almost 30% of the time, which is fine as long as he continues to mash when he does make contact. I think it's going to be tough for them. And I know he's great defensively, but at some point you have to say, does the offense of Austin Riley sort of overtake what Inciarte can give defensively? That might be. That might be it might be there already. He's striking out, Inciarte is, and maybe the back is an issue, for the highest he has all of his career, almost 20%. The average is 218. He stole 28 bases last year. I get it, stole 3 this year. But I wonder if the offense of Austin Riley overtakes what Inciarte brings defensively, because he doesn't bring much at the plate. He's not going to lead off for him with Acuna up there. It's just not going to happen. So I think they've got a tough decision on their hands, and I think Inciarte could be traded before the deadline to help them in the bullpen, which is sorely needed.
Yeah, no, I've been saying that too. Inciarte's got to go. There's no room for him at the end unless he's a fourth outfielder, which could be helpful, late inning guy to steal bags or something. But yeah, Riley, again, should have been up last year. Donaldson's kind of taking his spot for the rest of this year. So hopefully they keep him in the outfield until something else opens up, or maybe Donaldson gets hurt. We haven't seen that full DL stint yet. So it could be happening sooner than later.
Yeah, for sure. We already talked about him a little bit, obviously, in the FAAB, but Brendan Rodgers was called up to the Rockies. I talked about him in depth. Your thoughts maybe on him staying up here for the year if he does hit a little bit?
If he hits, he'll stay, and he's got the hit tools to stay. It's obvious. We've seen that. The power's legit. He's got a little bit of speed as well. Plate discipline's been great in the minor leagues. It's just a matter of, can he hit, and can he get enough playing time to get comfortable enough to hit? That's going to be the scary part. We've seen all these guys get moved around. McMahon's kind of struggled, but he's putting platooning. They already sent Hampson down. We saw how they treated Dahl and Tapia in recent years. It's just a smorgasbord of what the heck are the Rockies going to do. And if I had any of my own, decisions, I'd be concerned that he wouldn't stay up here. But he should stay up here. That's the difference. He should stay up. Will he stay up? I am very concerned he won't, because of the Rockies.
Yeah, I already said I'm worried about it. Like you said, they don't give young guys playing time. They just don't do it a lot. Dahl stayed healthy, and they were always going to give him playing time. But they kept Cargo for so many years. They're still playing Mark Reynolds. It's scary to me as a fantasy owner. If I did own him, I don't think I'm going to be able to have him, for the whole year. I think there will be spurts. There's always injuries and whatnot. But he's proven this year that he's improved at the plate with his discipline, as I said. So I hope he does get to stay. They're better with him on the team, in my opinion. Although you don't want him to sit on the bench. You want him to get at bats as much as possible.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Here's a fun one for you. Carter Stewart. He was the 8th overall pick in the baseball draft in 2018 to the Atlanta Braves. He did not sign because they didn't want to pay him as much as he thought he deserved, because they thought he was injured. Well, he sat out a year, and now he signed a 6-year, $7 million contract with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks of the Japanese Pacific League.
I'm so happy you had to say that, not me.
Yeah. Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks.
Yep.
Yes, of the Japanese Pacific. And this is a hell of a kind of a thing we got going here. We've seen, and guys who don't want to skip college in Europe for a little bit. Well, now this is kind of the baseball version of doing that in a roundabout way. And he's getting paid, because we've talked about it with Kyler Murray and whatnot. These guys are not going to get paid like this until they reach the bigs. He's getting $7 million out of the gate for his first 6 years. When he's 25, he's eligible to become an international signee and sign anywhere he wants, or whoever will have him, compared to having to, go back in the draft or something. This could open the doors for a lot of interesting things, Mo. What's your thoughts on this?
It's another bullet point. Number one, it's another bullet point that we are going to have a strike after the 2021 season. It's going to happen, because when a kid that's drafted 8th overall gets lowballed by $2.5 million because the slot value of the number 8 pick is, I actually think it's 4.56 or something like that. It might be slightly over that. And the Braves, because they thought he was hurt, only offered him $2 million. And he's like, F you, I'm going back. He went and played JUCO. Kid's 6'6". He throws in the mid-90s for his fastball. He's got a great curveball. It's just another major league team just lowballing a player. And now, whether this is the right decision or not, it's absolutely the right decision in terms of money. Okay, because if he takes that $2 million, even if he takes, if he gets the close to $5 million, he probably would make around the same. But at the same time, he's not going to be a free agent until he's 28, 29 years old, depending on when he gets up there, right? So now he's going to be a free agent at 25, and he's $7 million guaranteed. He's got to go live in Japan, which some people say is tremendous. But if you've lived in high school your whole life, lived in Florida and gone to high school in Florida your whole life, it's a culture shock. I mean, it's going to be tough, right?
It was a culture shock for Tom Selleck when he was 40 years old and Mr. Baseball. I can only imagine a 19-year-old getting $7 million in Japan.
Yeah, like I spent 2 weeks in Paris. I hated it. So I mean, if I can't spend 2 weeks in Paris, how's this guy going to spend 6 years in Japan? So there's a lot of things going on here. But yeah, this is number one. You got to pay more in the minor leagues. Number two, don't lowball first-round picks. And if you thought this kid was hurt and you're like, oh, we'll give him $2 million, it'll be fine. Now you don't have a first-round pick. You could have taken Nolan Gorman. You could have taken, anybody, literally anybody. You could have taken Brady Singer. You could have taken everyone that's behind him that has done really, really well and had a guy in your system already, but they got greedy and he called their bluff. And now he called the entire league's bluff. And he's going to Japan. He's going to get guaranteed money. And I'm happy for the kid.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm sad because this is just another bullet point that we are going on strike in a couple of years.
And it's going to be fun. And when he turns 25, 6 years from now, do the quick math. That's what, 2025. And his agent, Scott Boras. So if Scott Boras starts working this kind of action out for high school kids, can you imagine the gold mine he's going to start taking advantage of? It's going to be freaking crazy.
Yeah.
What's to say they don't just do Japan? I don't want to mention the guy's name because he doesn't deserve to be mentioned, but that pitcher from Oregon State, who didn't get drafted, he signed in Mexico City. He's playing in the Mexican leagues. What's to stop these guys from not playing in Mexico or the Dominican or something? Now, you can travel to Cuba legally now. The Cuban there's leagues all over the place. Is what I'm trying to say. What's to stop this from happening? Obviously, you'd probably want to go to Japan. It's probably towards the top of the list. It's like, going and playing in Italy or something for basketball. But what's going to stop these guys from doing this? Because obviously they have to be out till they're 25 to come back as an international player. So it's going to have to be pretty much 6-year deals. But, if they can get 6 years for anywhere from, $5-10 million, why not?
Yeah. Do you want to schlep on a bus in like the Carolinas for 8 hours at a time? And by the way, tremendous. Okay. It's great down there in the winter. I love going down there in the winter because I don't have to deal with a lot of snow. It's very, very nice. But you could get on a warm, just really sweaty bus with all your teammates making $10,000. Granted, he has the bonus money, which a lot of other guys don't. Or you could go to Japan, fly all over the place, playing it probably. I mean, I would probably say it's the second best league in the world outside of Major League Baseball.
Probably pretty close, yeah.
But yeah, and then the posting fee is still there for that team.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, we're not talking Dice K money. It's changed big time. Like I don't even think it's a lot of money anymore. I think it's like a couple $1 million, if that. So we'll see how he goes. We'll be keeping tabs on him in the next 6 years for sure.
And that U.S. dollar goes a lot farther in Japan, so he's going to be living like a king.
It certainly does. So he's not near Tokyo, though. That's what I heard today.
Yeah, but you got that money, take a quick trip over, or you can fly them to you, whatever you prefer.
We shall see. Let's get to the White Sox, which I had to send a DM to our buddy Casey Boguslaw to see what actually happened back then because I never heard about it. I feel like
Neither
you
did
didn't
I.
hear about it.
No idea.
A lot of people didn't hear about it. All that he sort of said back was that just like our friend Ian Kinsler, that basically Adam Eaton was a douche and no one liked him either. And he had never heard of the locker room fight that happened that August. But there's a lot going on here, Bubba. I mean, I'll just go over it real quick. They basically fought in the locker room in August. Adam Eaton moved his locker. The other day they got into it with going off the field with the Mets and the Nationals. Frazier was kind of chirping at him and whatnot. Supposedly Adam Eaton is not a well-liked guy by that White Sox team. And the way he plays, maybe he's not well-liked by this Nationals team. But this whole thing, we know now why they had to sort of rebuild this whole White Sox franchise after the 2016 season. Before I got other things too, but I'll let you get yours in. What do you got?
Well, that's kind of, I won't go into it if you're going to follow up on it, but that's kind of the biggest thing I got out of this article is like we knew about the LaRoche thing kind of came out of nowhere when he retired the way he did. Chris Sale going bonkers on jerseys. And then this fight, which we never heard of, it was just that whole locker room just seemed destroyed. Like no one wanted to be there. No one liked each other. It just seemed like a very, very bad place to be. I thought this was funny because you listened to the kind of the interview tidbits. It sounds like Todd Frazier, the way I interpreted it, could be wrong. This could be me just picturing it too. It sounds like Todd Frazier whipped Adam Eaton's ass because it mentions that there were fists thrown, like punches were thrown, and it got pretty good in there, and that's what made this whole thing kind of escalate. So, and Frazier mentions how the other 23 guys in the locker room do respect me and do like me, so you can ask them. So, yeah, it's like you said, Eaton sounds like the guy that no one liked. Frazier pretty much whooped his ass, and even in the interview after the other night, is Eaton's like, oh, yeah, he talks a lot but didn't want to come after me until the guys were holding him back. Eaton just sounds like that guy that you just want to smack around anytime you can. He looks like that guy. He's got that hit me face, and it makes me wonder if you really think about it. I know at the time, Giolito, Ronaldo Lopez, and was it Dane Dunning or whatever? The package for Eaton, those were three good prospects. Don't get me wrong, but Lopez and Giolito really weren't showing it at the time. It makes you wonder if, the White Sox just did this to get him out of there.
No, but I think if we ran back the tape, I think we were surprised that they got that much for Adam Eaton.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But I think that's maybe more so what I'm saying is I was surprised that they traded Adam Eaton for as young as he was and how many years of ownership they had on him. Maybe that's what I was more surprised. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, Sale made sense. A lot of the other moves made sense. That one was just like, really? What?
So the follow-ups that I have and the whole thing that sort of started this whole season was them banning Drake LaRoche from the clubhouse and told Adam LaRoche, he's in here too much. Kenny Williams sort of said that. A few players I guess, complained about it. And then this was a quote from Adam Eaton. Because remember, I think you have to remember this, that when they hung Drake LaRoche's jersey in the locker, that was there. So Eaton went on a Chicago radio show, quote, "We lost a leader in Drake, which is crazy enough that a 14-year-old could be looked at that. But the kid was so tremendous." I mean, what a comment by Adam Eaton that a 14-year-old is a leader in your clubhouse. So he's the only one that liked him. The only one that liked Adam Eaton was a 14-year-old of son of one of the guys on the team. That's really what it is.
He relates to the young kids, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, but Chris Sale calling Kenny Williams a liar, that was another thing that went on that day, that year. And then you mentioned, my buddy Chris Sale with the scissors and the uniforms, which, by the way, those were terrible uniforms anyway. It's a lot there in Chicago, and we were that was the start of our podcast, and we were very, very excited about the White Sox, and we're sort of still in that, there's still some excitement there. They're playing decent baseball for what they have, but it just hasn't gotten to the point because I think we both said like 2020, 2021, we're going to start competing here, and maybe we're still on pace for that depending on what the couple of the prospects do, but it's been a failure so far.
Well, I think the biggest thing we liked about them was we saw how much money they had, and we thought, okay, Machado or someone, and the fact they didn't land anybody makes it fall on its face because the prospects are great and all, but you can't have a full team of prospects and expect to win. I don't care who you are. Like, that's just like the Rays are the only team that ever comes close to doing something like that before they start trading guys. But they can't even win it all. It's simple. They're really, really good, but they can't win it all. The White Sox have the setup there. They just need another piece or two. They need like an ace pitcher, and they needed like a Machado. And they had the money to do it. They still have the money to do it. They just haven't done it. So if they did that, I think they'd be right there because, you know, Eloy's coming back healthy. Moncada's starting to get his thing going. Abreu's still playing great, even though he's older. There's a lot of pieces there to like. They just need the like one or two big pieces from the market to add to it. And I think that's what we thought was going to happen this whole time.
But they, quote unquote, had a competitive offer from Manny Machado, Bubba. So they tried.
Well, you know what the main problem still is here between that article and quote unquote competitive offers? Kenny Williams is still there. I think I'm sensing a trend of what the
he ain't going anywhere.
Really is.
Reinsdorf isn't getting rid of him. He ain't going anywhere.
So I think we found our problem.
Yeah, because his World Series in 2005 bought him 35 more years of employment for the White Sox. Trust me.
Oh, Jesus, that is horrible.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a guy that might be leaving after this year, but maybe not? His name's Joe Madden. There's a lot of discussion in that, and Joe Madden's always got that quirkiness about him to want to do really goofy things.
I hate this guy.
But I saw the clips of it. I kind of stopped caring because I thought it was just stupid. But, you know, we've seen different pitchers do kind of little different steps when they come to the mound and everything. And, you know, he tries to get in guys' heads. And basically Sean Doolittle has like a little tap with his motion of the mound, and he's calling it a balk, and they're saying it's not, so on and so forth. So he plays the game under protest. I hope he loses the protest. I hope the league tells him you're out of protest from now on for doing stupid things like that. But what's your thought on it? Like, this is just an absolutely stupid thing, especially when Carl Edwards does almost the same thing.
They're not winning this protest. I can't believe it's still out there, even if it is out there. It's just so stupid. It's Joe Madden thinking he's smarter than everyone else. I almost wish that the Cubs never won the World Series and he never won a World Series because he thinks he started the shift. He thinks he started he probably thinks he started the opener. You know, it's a lot of BS for nothing. He thinks he's smarter than everyone else, and he's not. Look, he did great things in Tampa, right? He got them to where they were. Granted, I think Andrew Friedman was probably the bigger player in that game to get them where they were, the way he built that franchise. Now, it's easy when you have a bunch of top 5 picks, but you still have to hit on those top 5 picks. So I don't like him. I don't like him at all. I like the Rays, but he just always rubbed me the wrong way because he just walked around like his shit didn't stink. And when you win, you can do that. And granted, the Cubs have been much better in the last, month. They started off a little slow. I still think that there's going to be a little issues. I think you're going to see John Lester come back to earth a little bit, even though I love the guy. He's not going to have a low 2 ERA forever, and I don't think he's going to have a low 3 ERA either. So we'll have to see what happens there. But I'm not a big fan of Joe Madden.
Yeah, he's a piece of work. I know people do love him. I actually have a relative that her husband knows him very well because he used to work in the minor league systems, and Joe has flown them out to World Series games. He is raves about Joe Madden. I've never met the man. From all I can tell, he's a special individual is all I can say. He's difficult, and I'm curious to see what happens if the Cubs don't make it this year, what they do with him. All right, let's talk some fantasy baseball action. We're just going to have a little fun here. It doesn't have to be anything super serious here, Mo, but I got some over-unders for you. Just going through the stats as we are basically 2 months into the season almost, give or take. Let's start with this one. Christian Yelich got 19 homers on the year. Over under 40 home runs.
Oh, boy. He's tremendous. Obviously, right now, he was out of the lineup today with a back injury. That could be an issue. He had 36 last year. I'm going to go with under
40.
I think he cools off a little bit. I mean, a 408 ISO right now, I just don't think that's going to happen. That can't be sustained. What's his home run to fly ball right now? 38.8, but last year was 35. So I think, I just don't think he's going to hit 40.
All right. Josh Bell is crushing baseballs right now. As we've recorded, he just hit his 15th home run of the season into the Allegheny again. Over under 27 home runs this season.
Ooh. I'll go with over because 2 years ago he did have 26. And he is hitting the ball well. Again, probably a 355 ISO. It's just not sustainable. But he's hitting the ball harder than he ever has. I mean, his soft contact is 8.5%, which is insane. His hard contact is 51.9. So although I'm not a Josh Bell fan, 13 more homers over the next 4 months, I think he does that. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he goes over 30. I think this is legit. I really.
He said 27.
Yeah, I said 27, but I think
okay.
I want to keep.
He goes over 30. Okay.
I think he goes over 30. I think this is legit what he's doing right now. It's freakish, and he's like you said, we've seen it in the past. We just haven't seen it consistently happen. This is happening now. Like he's young, he's finding his stride. This dude's legit. I think he goes over 30. I really do. The juice ball might be helping. I don't know, but I think he goes over 30.
That was your guy.
Yep.
Do you got a ton of shares of him or what?
He's on my TGFBI team. Let's say that much. Big fan there. Cody Bellinger. He's hitting 404. Now, I want to ask the dumb question: does he go over 400? But I think you and I both agree probably not, right?
No.
Okay. Well, let's have fun with this much because it's really weird. When we look at his X stats, he's not far off from his numbers right now this year, which is scary. Over under 380.
Under.
Where do you think he finishes? Like, what kind of cold stretch do you think he has?
I think he probably. This is going to be maybe crazy to say. I think he probably gets in the. It's not too far down. I think it's probably closer to 360, 365.
Okay, that's still
403 BABIP is not sustainable.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, the thing is, though, 403 BABIP, it shouldn't be sustainable. Yeah, I won't argue that. It shouldn't be sustainable.
You know what I mean? It shouldn't be sustainable, although him striking out only 14% of the time is tremendous. I didn't think we'd ever see that. I thought he'd always be around a 25 to 30% strikeout guy, even though he'd walk around 10% of the time. But he's improved on every metric, including defensively. He's like the all-around player right now. If the seat, like I wonder right now, I'm sure it's available on NFBC because they have the midseason. Is he going number 2 right now behind Trout, or is he?
I don't think those drafts have started yet. I think those start here. They either started last night or the next few nights. Yeah, it's the big pushes this week, and so we can definitely talk about those ADPs next week. I'm looking forward to seeing how that changes compared to the preseason.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, he's already got 7 steals, 17 bombs. I'm so happy to be wrong on him, Bubba, because I own him in 3 of my leagues from when he was a prospect.
Let's have fun with this. NL MVP, Bellinger, Yelich, or the field?
It's not the field.
So it's Bellinger or Yelich.
I think it's Bellinger or Yelich. I'm kind of just trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, Arenado, if he hadn't won it in the past couple of years, he's probably not going to win it. Votto's out of the picture now.
I feel Josh Bell's not a contender.
I just don't think. I'm not a Josh Bell guy, as you know. So I don't think Pittsburgh will be in it, number one. And for them not to be in it, he would have to have like a 45 homer year. Yeah. He'd have to go really, really off. I'm just trying to think who else. Marcell Ozuna, although his power's back a little bit, he's batting 233. Goldschmidt hasn't done what we thought he was going to do, even though, he started off slow last year and he's still, he's got 10 homers, batting 254, 354 OBP. He's striking out more than ever. Is there anyone else? Javi Baez maybe in there? I think it's either Bellinger or Yelich. And I think ultimately I still have the Brewers missing the playoffs, even though Jimmy Nelson's coming back. I have to stick with that. So I think Bellinger wins it.
All right, yeah. The only thing I could think of was maybe some dark horse like last year when Matt Carpenter showed up that something crazy happens. But
yeah, like if the Mets somehow get back into it, Conforto is doing, he's doing really well. I was a big Conforto guy before the year.
Alonso's got 16 homers already.
Yeah, but he's slowing down a little bit. I'm trying to trade him right now as I speak in my keeper league because I just have too many guys at first base and outfield, so I need to make that happen.
All right. On the flip side of things, Jose Ramirez has 4 home runs this year, over under 15.
He'll figure it out. I think he gets over.
Okay. Alberto Mondesi has 17 stolen bases, over under 40.
I mean, didn't we say if he got on base enough, he'd probably steal around 50 or 60 bases, right? And he's
OBP right now.
He did improve his walk rate a little bit, slightly. I mean, not almost. I mean, it's up from 3.8 to 5.9. The BABIP isn't crazy right now. It really isn't. And he's still hitting the ball pretty hard. I'm gonna say over.
Over 40 steals for Alberto.
Yeah, I know Steamer has 33 for the rest of the year. Well, total. So basically saying he's going to double his steals right now. I think somehow he gets to the over because Ned Yost is just going out swinging here.
Okay, let's do a couple pitchers here. So we got take your time. Hung Jin Ryu has a 1.52 ERA.
He's been
over under 2.5 by end of season.
Under
2.5.
And you know why I'm saying under? Not only has he been unbelievable, they're going to use that DL, so he's going to miss a start or two, and there's a possibility he could get hurt like he normally does and pitches 125 innings this year, which means he's only getting 60 more innings, and he's probably not going to blow up, and they're going to rest him and all that stuff. So I think it's under. He's been amazing. I know his FIP is 2.61. The BABIP probably isn't sustainable, and the left on base percentage definitely isn't sustainable. But I don't think he's going to go over 2.5. He's just been awesome. He really has been the last 5 starts.
Been amazing. Domingo Germán is 9-1 on the season in 10 games or 9 starts, basically. So he's got 9 wins. He's got 55 in the third innings. You'd imagine there's going to be some kind of limit on him, you'd think. Over under 16 wins this season.
Oh, I hate doing wins as a stat, but it is what it is, right? Because it is still a stat, and it's a big fantasy stat in most leagues.
Yep.
Because it's the Yankees and they're not even healthy yet, I think he gets over.
Okay.
Because and you know what? Like you said, the innings part of it is tough because the most innings he's ever had in his career was in 2014, and it was 123 innings, and then he missed a year. I'm assuming because of Tommy John.
Yep.
And then 2017. He had, it looks like, around 115 innings or so.
Mm-hmm.
So, Paxton's going to be coming back. Maybe Severino comes back. CC, we don't know. They're gonna figure that out, sort of like the Dodgers do with the disabled list.
All right, Garrett Cole is taking the mound tonight. Before his start on Wednesday, he has 93 strikeouts in 10 games started. Over under 300 strikeouts this year.
I'm going to say under still. I'm going to say under. I just, he's going to cap out. He's got 140 innings, so he's got 93 and 60. Carry the 2. He's going to be right there. I think it's going to be under.
Under for him. All right. Justin Verlander was filthy last night. He's got 89 Ks through 11 starts. Over under 285 strikeouts.
Now you bring him up, did you see the article about him? He spends the day of his starts, he spends 2 hours in front of the computer looking at different metrics and whatnot.
I saw it. It came out today. It's on my list of things to read. It sounds very, very interesting.
He's so smart compared to like your guy Madison Bumgarner, who just won't go into
analytical. Gotta go there, huh?
I'm not doing. If there's an opener, I'll walk under the sunset. Well, enjoy your dirt bikes. So anyways, what is the over under again?
285.
I'm gonna say over.
Over to it. Yeah, I think if anybody can do it, he's a horse. He's an absolute horse. Why is that not loading?
Sorry, maybe we're on the wrong page here. So I'm saying over 285, so like 286.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's because his advanced metrics are crazy too right now.
Yeah.
Not that we want to look at everything.
Traded, but you never know. But Kirby Yates, 19 saves, over under 30 saves for Kirby Yates.
I think it goes over because the Padres are actually really good. Well, not really good. They're good this year, which is different from the past years. I don't think AJ Preller will look at him and say, I need to sell high on this guy. I really don't. Like, he's 32 years old. But at the same time, I don't think he has as much mileage and high leverage innings on his belt. And if you said to your fans, we signed Manny Machado to win, and to win soon. And we got rid of the Super 2 with Tatis to win and to win soon. I just don't think you can trade him, so I think he gets over 30 saves.
Yep, that's not bad. That's all I got. We can move on to streamers unless you have any more fun things to discuss on over-unders.
No, that was a lot of them. So I had Bellinger's page open. I had Ryu's page open. I had Verlander's page open. So I was kind of ready for you to bring those after us. But yeah, it's interesting. But let's get to the streamers this week. It's kind of an interesting weekend. I guess we'll start with you. I mean, what do you got for Friday?
It's ugly, to say the least. It's not as attractive as I would once say. I guess if I got to pick just one or two, maybe you could look at Daniel Mengden. He looked really, really good his last time out in Detroit, which a lot of people look good there. But he gets he's at home against Seattle, a Seattle offense that's scuffling tremendously. So Mengden's a guy you could look at on Friday night.
Yeah, I don't mind that one. Like you said, it's pretty ugly. I really don't have a ton. I mean, you normally would look at a John Means if he's playing a bad team, but he's in Colorado. So we'll see at that one. I think probably one that is sneaky, even though he's been terrible this year, just because it's San Francisco, is Zach Godley. I mean, if you got a lineup maybe with somebody out, somebody was hurt, or they're giving someone a break, you give him a shot. If you really need to get a win or maybe a few Ks and your ERA is already shot, you don't really worry about that. You give him a go and see what he can do. I mean, I don't think he's this bad of a pitcher. I'm not saying he's a stud, but he's certainly not 7.90 ERA bad. So maybe he can get back on track, at your San Francisco Giants in that big ballpark.
A lot of people do.
A lot of people do. What? Any more for Friday? You want to move right to Saturday?
Saturday works for me.
All right, go to Saturday.
Saturday, there's two. I'll start with one. Kyle Gibson at home against the Chicago White Sox, a White Sox team that can strike out quite a bit. Gibby likes to pitch at home much more than on the road, so I'll go Kyle Gibson against the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, I don't mind that one. I'm going to go Tyler Mahle. I think 12% owned in most of those leagues. I mean, he's been much better lately. Really, really, really good. He's at Chicago, which depends on if the wind's blowing out. Maybe you don't start him, but you have to watch that weather, because if the wind is blowing out, it will be tough. But I'm not the biggest fan of that Cubs lineup. At least the bottom of it. There's always at least 3 or 4 guys that are there that just aren't great. So I like what he's been doing lately. And anytime you get out of the Great American Ballpark, or whatever it's called now, it's a good thing for him. So I like that play on Saturday night.
Yeah, the last one I have here is Mike Fiers at home.
Yep.
Against Seattle again. Fiers, I know he just came out the no-no, but pretty much anytime he's at home, he's streamable against pretty much every team. Not every team, but pretty much. So I'll keep that short and sweet. But Fiers at home against the Mariners is in play.
Yeah, I like that one. Sunday, the one that I'll go, and it is an obvious one there, but the one I'm going to choose is your guy Sean Anderson against Arizona. David Peralta is hurt with a little back injury. He's most likely going to go on the DL, I would say. They've kind of taken him out of games early, so that hurts their lineup quite a bit, and especially at home, as we say all the time, that'll help them very much. So you got any more for Sunday here, or what do you think?
Yeah, there's a couple. I'll start with Eric Fedde against the Miami Marlins. I think that's one you can definitely use. Probably give you 5 or 6 innings. Quality start, maybe a little bit of upside there against the Marlins offense. Been pitching great out of the bullpen and really well in the minors. Once a kind of higher touted prospect, not a high one, but expected to do good things for the Nats. Took him some time. Fedde against Miami, someone I'll take a look at.
Lance Lynn, only 12% owned in most leagues on Yahoo and ESPN. He's facing an Angels team that does not strike out a lot, but Andrelton Simmons, who doesn't strike out really at all, just went on the DL, so that really hurts their lineup a bit. Not that Andrelton Simmons is going to hurt you in the power alley, but he doesn't strike out a ton, so that's going to add another guy to put that strikeout percentage up for that whole team, as long as he avoids Mike Trout. He'll be pretty good, and obviously last night with his start, 11 Ks against the Mariners last night, which won me a bet, so I was very excited about that. But he's been very, very good lately, and it seems like in the last few years, it's taken him a month and a half or so to kind of get going. And that's the case so far this season as well. So he's somebody to watch out for on Sunday. And I assume that ownership will go up steadily.
Yeah, it should. The last guy I have is Spencer Turnbull of the Detroit Tigers. He is at the New York Mets. Good ballpark to pitch in, good team to pitch against. Turnbull's been very good this year. It's a walk thing with him. If he's not walking guys, he's very, very good. Overall, he's great for quality starts with some win equity as well at times. But good strikeout stuff when he's not walking guys. So the Bull, Spencer Turnbull, is one I take a look at.
I like it.
That's all I got. So
me too. There's not as many as we've had the past couple of weeks, but yeah, there's still some shots. Like I said, Zach Godley is not someone I want to own right now, but it depends on the categories that you need, and if your ERA maybe is shot or you've won ERA by a lot, you take a shot on him.
Yep, for sure. Why don't you take us to the bullpen updates?
Yeah, let's go to the bullpen update. Last thing today. There's a few of them, and the main reason, and you probably watched the game last night, but the Braves, Luke Jackson blown 2 straight saves. Sean Newcomb got a save, which is kind of hurts me a little bit now that I've almost given away who I probably would have had on my team. But it's an interesting situation in the Braves, and we didn't even have it bring it up because I really don't think it's kind of relevant. They traded for Anthony Swarzak, and they traded Vizcaino, who's hurt, and another reliever. So are they opening up something for Kimbrel, which if they do, he's probably still a month away because they need him to get up to speed. You don't really know what he's been doing the last few months. I'm sure he's throwing a little bit, but this is still a fluid situation in Atlanta where Luke Jackson just maybe he doesn't have it, and now they give a chance to Newcomb. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it's Sean Newcomb's deal because, Jackson got a save last Friday, but blew a save on Saturday, blew the save last night against the Giants. Like, it was pathetic the way he blew it, too. It was bad. Really, really bad. And Newcomb's looked really good since going to the bullpen. Just that whole story. Some guys just don't work well in the starting rotation, but in the bullpen, things go great. So I can see Sean Newcomb definitely getting a shot there. I think Kimbrel is the answer, as you said, but they just need to piece it together for now to keep contending, and Newcomb should be that guy.
How stupid will they look if they all of a sudden bring in Kimbrel now? I mean, it just really, really just is. It shows what they did to Carter Stewart, and now it shows what they've sort of done to their whole season. Not that they're having a decent season so far, but what would it be with Craig Kimbrel for the whole season? It's just stupid.
Yep, it's pretty bad.
Let's get to the Red Sox, and the reason why I bring this up is because they've kind of been all over the place. The other day, Brandon Workman got the save after Matt Barnes got the hold in the 8th. Marcus Walden ended up getting the win. The thing that I want to bring up, Ryan Brazier has not been great. He has not been terrible. He's got an ERA in like the low 4s, high 3s. He doesn't have I've said all along, he doesn't have the out pitch that Matt Barnes does. Matt Barnes should be the closer. I think he would have gotten the save the other day over Workman if it wasn't for the Astros meat of the order being up in the 8th. So I think that's why Cora went to Barnes in the 8th. I said all along I think it should be Barnes. But I think Cora is going to work this around, and I think the wild card is Marcus Walden because I got to tell you, Bubba, this guy seems to be this year's Ryan Brazier for the Red Sox. He's come out of nowhere, and finally the other day he was put in a high-leverage situation with the bases loaded with 1 out, and he got a double play to get out of it with no runs allowed, so that's why he got the win. So I know people did bid on him this week. I know in my league someone got him for $5. He may get a shot at a couple saves here, depending on the situation, even though I still think ultimately Barnes should be the guy.
Yeah, it should be Barnes for now until something changes, but it's a good idea to look at Walden, especially in deeper leagues, as a potential piece, as you keep saying. He's going to keep moving guys around and doing different things there in the bullpen, so doesn't hurt to give it a try, and the Red Sox much better than me, so I think Barnes is the guy, though. I agree with you there, but until then, you never know. Speculate somewhere because it's a mess all over baseball.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, Barnes has the out pitch with his curveball and whatnot. So he's been unbelievable this year. Let's get to the Rockies, who put Wade Davis on the DL today. He's got an oblique issue, which could be a problem for more than 10 days. We'll have to monitor that a little bit. And right now, Roster Resource has Scott Oberg in there as the closer. I know a few people on Twitter today in the fantasy baseball world has kind of said Carlos Estevez should be the guy to hopefully get the most saves. I don't think Brian Shaw is an option there. Some people think Mike Dunn will get almost like the Twins with Taylor Rogers. What are your thoughts on this situation?
Yeah, that's the concern I have. Is you got Mike Dunn, who coming from the left side can be interesting. Sungwon Has actually closer's experience. That goes a long ways. So I wouldn't be shocked if he gets some stuff there. Estevez has the best stuff, though. 30.5% K rate, 8.4% walk rate, good left on base rate, decent ground ball, but still got too many fly balls because a home run and fly ball of almost 14 out of the bullpen is not ideal. But, a 3.55 xFIP isn't horrible, especially when you're talking about coming out of the bullpen in Colorado. So Estevez, I think, should be the guy. I'd be worried about O getting the role or trying to give Dunn some action if they want to go like a lefty-righty kind of matchup deal. That would be my biggest concern. But Estevez, that's the guy I'd be targeting if I had to go make a speculative bid for now. But yeah, we'll see, because anybody in Colorado is going to be sketchy no matter what you do.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, O's been terrible this year. He's 9.6 ERA. I think he's been a bit unlucky, but I don't know how unlucky it could, 408 BABIP, 59.1% left on base percentage. He's not a fly. He's a big time fly ball pitcher as it is, and almost 24% of each fly ball is going out for a home run, and that happens a lot in Colorado, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I would think that Bud Black wouldn't go to him, but like you said, he does have closers experience, and Bud Black is an old school manager, so maybe he goes with that experience over a few other guys.
Yep, that'd be the dumb thing to do.
Yes.
But all right, that wraps up episode 110. Mo, any final thoughts on a crazy week of baseball?
No final thoughts. Obviously, I've said, this is probably the third time I've said it, that I'm still shell shocked here from FAAB this weekend, because I would have been able to help my TGFBI team, but got to move on here and just move on to the next week and hope that now I have enough money for Kyle Tucker and Alvarez. So I hope they get them up here pretty soon.
Yep, that's my whole thing. I lost out on the other guys. I'm like, okay, I got the money to do it. I better get these other guys.
Tyler White sucks, Jeff Lunell. Tyler White sucks.
Yes.
Let's figure this out. DFA Kemp, figure it out, okay?
It's pretty simple. Really not that hard. We can do it for you.
All right.
But all right, everybody, Mo is on Twitter at Boston_Mo. I am at BDentric, and the podcast at Around Bases Pod. Thanks for listening, everybody. This is Around the Bases with Bubba Mo, episode 110. Catch you guys later.
See you.